So let me begin this analysis here by asking you this particular question. At any given point, have you ever seen Raila Odinga having a meeting with the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni? Of course not. Why? The answer here is very simple, simply because of their bitter fallout. Raila Odinga and Museveni have never ever been in good terms for quite a long period of time. And that is why I can still remember very well, some years back, Yoweri Museveni told Raila Odinga face to face to stop wasting his own time by spreading propaganda over sugar imports from Uganda to Kenya. And just for a quick reminder, I want you to have a look at this particular photo of that statement from the Nation media article. So yesterday, I was completely shocked after I saw Raila Odinga in a broad daylight during his statement, dragging in Yoweri Museveni into Murkomen's remarks over Rwanda. How do you think Museveni reacted to that statement made by Raila Odinga, considering their fallout? So in this analysis, I just want to explain to you on what really happened. But before that, I want us to first of all listen to Murkomen's remarks, then we proceed.
Rwanda is not like Kenya. You know, like the president said yesterday in the interview that he had with you, we must live with certain expectations as a country that comes with democracy. Rwanda is autocracy, and there, whatever the president says is the law. Here in this country, if you make, the other day I announced that we wanted to retest the drivers because some of the drivers have no proper training, some of them have medical conditions that does not allow them to be on the roads. But what happened? You know, people caused chaos, went to court. So every decision you make in this country, you must go through first a proposal, then parliament, then public participation. Then after you go through the process, you go through the court, and that is our country. So what has happened, and the size of Rwanda, of course, is almost the size of, say, Kajiado County is even bigger. So you cannot compare the political situation in Rwanda and the size of the country with our country and our democracy. But we must maneuver through the process that we have. That's why we have to employ technology to deal with corruption and cartelism and, you know, all that kind of thing. But if we are a military state, you know that some countries execute people for even a small offense. We cannot do this in our country. We are different, and we must negotiate through the legal processes. And my friend Honorable Onyang understands that it is not a minister or a police officer or a president does not have a silver bullet in terms of enforcement. It's a collective responsibility for all of us.
So in my considered opinion, ladies and gentlemen, I don't see any issue with Murkomen's statement because I strongly believe that Murkomen just said the truth as it is because he was making a comparison and the differences between Kenya and Rwanda. Murkomen was trying to compare Kenya and Rwanda in terms of population and size. Of course, Kenya is bigger than Rwanda in terms of size and population. Also, he was comparing Kenya and Rwanda in terms of governance, whereby here in Kenya, we are actually a democratic country, while in Rwanda, whatever the president says, whatever the decision that the president makes, that actually becomes final. But here in Kenya, simply because we are a democratic country, you can challenge the president's decision at the court of law, and actually the court of law can overturn the president's final decision. That is exactly what we mean by the term democratic country. So I don't see any issue with Murkomen's statement. So what is really happening here? Based on my critical research, I tend to think that it is only Raila Odinga and some Azimio leaders who wants to incite the East African communities against President William Ruto and the Kenya Kwanza Alliance government. And they are using Murkomen's remarks as an excuse. So let us wait and see if Raila Odinga will actually succeed on this. And the point here is, Murkomen made this particular statement trying to express the competition within the African countries. Remember that For us to succeed as Africans, we have to compete, but a very healthy competition. And that is why the Rwandan government have not yet responded back to Murkomen up to date. So this is exactly how Raila Odinga responded back to Murkomen, dragging in Museveni into the equation. So let me read for you this statement by Raila Odinga that he made yesterday and show you on the screen. Raila says that we must tell Kenyans that our neighbors are not to blame for this negative development in our relationship. At the center of the continuing damage of our relationship in the East African community is the unbridled greed and corruption, and as practiced by the Kenya Kwanza Ruto government, and the arrogance and foul mouth that has come with it. Uganda has been forced to go to the court in Kenya through its Uganda Petroleum Company to challenge a formula instigated by the Kenya Kwanza cartels that forces the sovereign state of Uganda to have its petroleum product transit through Kenya to pay a middleman fee. The action of the Kenya Kwanza cartels to undermine the letter and the spirit of the East African Community Treaty, to waylay our landlocked neighbors who have used Kenya as the preferred route for imports and exports, may hurt the neighbors now, but Kenya will pay the price in the long run. So that is Raila Odinga's response to Murkomen dragging in Yoweri Museveni and the country of Uganda. But the biggest question here is, why do you think Raila Odinga had to drag in Museveni, or rather Uganda, into this particular issue? Because Murkomen was talking about Rwanda. In my considered opinion, first of all, just like I had said it earlier on, Raila Odinga is inciting the East African community countries against President William Ruto and the Kenya Kwanza Alliance government. And that is why I strongly believe that Raila Odinga and his people have successfully managed to incite our neighboring country like Tanzania against Kenya, also the country of the DRC Congo against Kenya, our neighboring country here, Sudan, against Kenya, also Rwanda. Raila Odinga is on a mission to incite Rwanda and Uganda against Kenya. Let us wait and see if Raila Odinga will succeed on this. Secondly, just like I had said it earlier on, Raila Odinga has never been in good terms with Yoweri Museveni. So I also tend to think that Raila Odinga is using this as an excuse to appear like he is defending the country of Uganda so that he can make his friendship again with Yoweri Museveni. But do you think that Museveni can agree to be in good terms with Raila Odinga? Only time will tell. And thirdly, I strongly believe that Raila Odinga had to drag in the country of Uganda in this issue simply because Raila Odinga is on a mission to paint the Kenya Kwanza Alliance government as a very bad government. He wants also to paint President William Ruto as a very bad president in the East African community regions. But after that particular statement, this is how Yoweri Museveni himself responded back to Raila Odinga through his actions. But before we go straight into the details, just a quick reminder that in case you are listening to me up to this point, yet you haven't subscribed, I'm requesting you to please take a second or two and just subscribe to this channel. You can also give this video a like. If you do that, YouTube will automatically recommend this channel and this video to reach out to others. To my returning subscribers also, I really want to appreciate you so much for your continued support, because without that support, then this channel cannot be where it is. And that is why I don't take that support for granted. You can also easily get notified from YouTube itself automatically every time I upload a video on this channel by simply activating the notification bell down below. Now, having said that, now let us go straight into the details. This is how Yoweri Museveni, through his actions, responded back to Raila Odinga. First of all, if you noticed, Raila Odinga was urgently called for a crucial meeting with the members of PAC. the Public Accounts Committee of Uganda, who happens to be in the country. And I want you to have a look at these photos here. And in Raila Odinga's official ODM Party X account, this is the caption that it made concerning that particular meeting. Let me just read for you and show you on the screen. Party leader Raila Odinga held discussions with the members of the Public Accounts Committee in Ugandan PAL, Honorable Lubega, Chairman, and Honorable Oneko, who are in the country on official visit. They reflect on many issues affecting the East African region and the African continent as a whole. So what exactly can you say about that statement from the ODM party? In my considered opinion, simply because these are only the leaders of the Public Accounts Committee dealing with the finance, dealing with the economic issues in Uganda, you cannot say that they talked about the issues concerning the East African region. That is a total lie, because these are not the members of the East African communities, or rather the leaders of the East African communities. They are the members of the Public Accounts Committee in Uganda. That is actually a red alert detected in that statement. So why do you think these leaders or these members of the Public Accounts Committee had to meet Raila Odinga immediately after he made that statement? In my considered opinion, these members were there to represent none other than Yoweri Museveni himself during that meeting with Raila Odinga. Because of the fallout between Raila Odinga and Museveni, I don't think Museveni would want a situation whereby he is being defended by Raila Odinga, and especially being dragged in these issues, because Museveni has always been in good terms with President William Ruto, and that simply explains as to why Museveni has conducted several meetings with President William Ruto. So he will not want to be dragged in these particular issues. Secondly, I also want to, out of context, question Raila Odinga's patriotism. You know, sometimes as a leader, a national leader like Raila Odinga, he has to put politics aside and act or defend his own country, Kenya, as a patriotic Kenyan. But in the recent situations, like for example, recently Kenya as a whole was attacked by the president of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu, during her remarks. But I saw no leader here in Kenya defending this country, including the opposition. But when a leader here in Kenya makes a statement that is not good about a certain country, we are here to expose our own selves as a country. That is not a good thing as leaders. What can you say about Raila Odinga's response? What can you say about Murkomen's statement? What can you say about Murkomen's remarks over Rwanda? Let me also know your thoughts, your views, and your opinions in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I don't have much. Thank you so much for listening to me up to this point. Let me see you again in my next analysis, but please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Bye bye.